Good afternoon, friends. Today is April 26th. I am recording this patterns video for the April 29th, which is Monday. So first, what I thought I would do is I would be actually launching my website next week. It's about 80% done, so I'm quite excited about it. It has got quite a bit of features. A lot of you would like it, and it would also show you compilation of the patterns and historical patterns and my posts, and you can see lots of that stuff. But I guess I will be actually doing a review of my website next week. But right now, let's get into the current list of stocks, and I have quite a few stocks to talk about it, and also I'm going to be talking about it in a chart pattern which I actually wrote it in the book called in my book the pattern name is called a parabolic arc. There's quite a few stocks which are showing this parabolic arc pattern, and this has been my interest for the past, at least I would say, 8-9 years of it, and I have actually now I wrote an automatic detection of it, and it's pretty complex, but I'm actually still working on it. But I thought I would just show you some of the stocks which are in that parabolic arc mode too. So before we go, first let's just start off talking about gold. Gold is absolute puzzling to me. Gold, it has fallen quite a bit in the last few days, and in the last couple of days, I guess it's bounced back. Is it a really dead cat bounce? I'm not sure, but I'm not going to touch it. What I would think is, right now, if you look at this rectangular range is between, I guess, a 1530 to 1850 kind of range, and that's what is actually expanded. So my first targets would be actually all the way down to 1250 range, but now it is bouncing it back. So I would be waiting for it to see if it actually closes about this top of this range. That's about 1530 kind of thing, and then if I do see a trend change, maybe it may be a consideration. But so far I'm not interested in gold, so I have not traded it. Now let's look at ES. I thought I would actually show you a different chart too, but let me actually show this one first. So what's happening in the ES is ES or S&P, they pretty much have the similar type of numbers now. So right now my target is still 1608, and in fact the targets for this week, or actually April 26th, is the 1608. Let me actually pull up that chart and show you. See if I can bring this here. So this is the chart I'm actually talking about. Here what we have is the same type of an ABC pattern, but this is an S&P, and the target is 1608. But what we are looking for it is, we are also looking at this date. This is actually 26th of April, and we are looking for this 1608. These are never absolutely accurate. They're off by like a couple of days, so I'm expecting it by next week. So we are about only 26 points from that target. So what would happen at that point? Not quite sure what would happen really, but we will see the market price action at that point and see it. Usually 127% is a pretty strong reversal area, so I'll be watching for it. In fact, I'm actually trading my stocks accordingly also. So now let's switch back to our this. Go back to this. Okay, so now that's how the S&P looking like right now, and also let's just go ahead and start looking at some of these stocks. What I thought I would show you is another one of the pattern which is kind of a concern is XLK. XLK, it's a tech sector ETF. I'm sure all of you know this, and this is the one which kind of has a head and shoulder pattern which is kind of developing right now. Last week I think I probably talked about it, or the week before. Here what's happening is the pattern did trade below the 200 period moving average, and I thought that this is a sign, but now in this last week actually it's bounced back. So if the price actually reverses and again trades below this 29.68, which is a 200 period moving average, now I think that maybe this head and shoulder pattern might materialize. There are some stocks which are actually showing the weakness. Of course, we have seen already in Apple, but today was the first time we have seen in Amazon. So I guess there are some stocks, but on the other hand, there are some stocks which are just absolutely in a parabolic mode, and that's what I'll be talking about it a little bit in a few minutes. So let's go ahead and first talk about the few stocks which I wanted to mention it. The first is Adobe. Adobe has what I call is an X5 pattern. This X5 pattern is also of course an ABC pattern what we're seeing here, and this is I would have probably guessed that the final range would be about 44.51, and Adobe's earnings are not until June 18th. So but here what else we have is we also have an X5 pattern developing, and I bet it is going to exhaust about between $46 and $47 price range. So and also the trend is pretty solidly green, so I think we will be looking for that price range to see if it reverses from there. Next is let's look at Boeing. Look at Boeing's strong trend. It's been trading in an ABC pattern for a long time, but it also has a parabolic arc too. But besides it, if you just look at this pattern here, this is actually it's a big channel range. Let me try to draw it and show it to you guys. A lot of people got scared because of its battery issue, and then of course they broke out, and now it's actually trading much higher. So this is actually more of a channel, and of course there's an ABC embedded pattern in this one too. But how far would it go? I guess it's anybody's guess, but at this point I would think that about $92-93 is I would think that that may be the resistance point, because if you compare this measured moves from this rectangular channel, and that's what would be the target. Now let's look at let's actually look at Apple too. I know I've been talking about it and I have not traded Apple, but I thought that I would show you, because it's this is the head and shoulder patterns which actually developed it here, and the lowest range was 390 to 419. So that's where it actually hit this 390, and I probably traded a little bit below, but then it moved on to 419, and right now it is actually closing at 419. The trend is still solidly red. I have no interest in trading Apple or even the other stock called Cirrus Logic. Cirrus Logic also has a similar type of a head and shoulder pattern, and I bet I posted this at least couple of weeks in a row. And this is also right now today also it fell quite a bit, $1.73. So my targets would be now, since it's trading below this 1773 level, I would think that it would probably have a much more room to go down. So but I'm not trading this stock either. Now let's look at another one is the CVX. I think they had their earnings today, and I have traded CVX in the past, and I do not have a position in CVX. But CVX again, it's a reversal from its negative trend, and now it's heading higher. So I guess in the first range of targets, probably we would be looking for some kind of a resistance about $123 kind of a range. Next is Deckers. I bet you probably saw this at least 3-4 months of me posting this. Guess what happened today? Today, they came out with their earnings, and I guess it dropped to $5.30. But before it dropped, look at its targets ranges. The target ranges it reached are this is my secondary targets, and this is most of the time that is if I'm trading these stocks, and I would be that is my last target zone between 127 and 162. And I have traded Deckers, but I actually got out much before 127 because I was trading options, and they kind of multiplied quite a bit. So because of that reason, I actually got out of this stock. But it did reach its 162, which is the 59.32, and now it's dropped $5. And usually this type of drops, which actually are quite concerning. So basically that means that it may come down even further down. Let's also look at another one, which is this stock is C-Trip. There's a couple of China stocks which are showing some kind of a strength, although Baidu had a pretty bad day today, but a stock like C-Trip and Sohu are actually showing some pretty solid strength into it. So my targets would be between 23.5 and 24.75 on this. And then let me also show you Sohu. Here, I don't have a position in Sohu, but I think this is how it's actually been trading right now. Let's look at FXY. This is the um, it's actually an ETF for the Japanese yen. I believe I wanted to show is a this is the head and shoulders pattern. I've not traded this FXY, but my target would be $95.95, and that is our secondary targets. And that's where I think it's supposed to be today. It went up by $1.41, but that's what I thought I would just quickly show you is the head and shoulders patterns in it. One of my favorite one, of course, is the Intel, and Intel has reached my targets, and I am now out of it. Let me show you here, and this is the Intel. I've been trading this, and my first targets would be between 22.5 and $23 and $24. I guess 23.93, and that's where it actually reached almost that price range, and now it's kind of showing a little bit of a reversal. But I'm pretty bullish on Intel, and I do think that it is actually probably would go much higher, between $25 and $26.30. But currently, I'm out of Intel. Again, Intel also multiplied quite a bit, and so I'm actually out of that stock. Now let's look at yes, this is the one I posted a few weeks ago. I called General Dynamics, and I had positions in this one too. And there was a bit of a scare when actually it reached 62%. It actually dropped back to its entry level, and then just within the couple of days it went back, and now it's showing quite a bit of strength. And I guess I'm thinking that it will probably move even much higher now. But I am out of General Dynamics. Next one, I don't have a position right now, but it's called a Mercado Libre, which is a let's see, where is the pattern here? Yes, they are actually having their earnings are on May 8th, and let's see. Okay. One of it is, I guess, is it X5, but it's also pretty large ABC. Okay, that's the reason it's not showing. Okay, here. This is another one which is still developing here, but their earnings are due, and I don't have a position in yet. But this is something, if you guys are playing with it, playing Melly, I think you should be probably watching for its next targets would be between $105 and $106. Yes, $105 is my target range. Next is the Monster. Monster, you got to be careful here. This also has a pretty good ABC pattern, and also inverse head and shoulder pattern. Let me show you this. But their earnings are also due on May 8th. So we got to be looking for that. I think it's the following week. If the earnings are good, I guess it would actually move up to this range, 68 to 71. But it does have an inverse head and shoulders patterns too. Another one, which again I got out this stock, which is the Microsoft, but I have traded this pretty well in the last few months, and I got into this stock. Let me see, where is my notes here? This has got let me show you. This is actually the weekly ABC pattern, and I got out of this stock. I only had actually $30 calls, and I got in when it was just about trading $27. In fact, if you go back and look at a few weeks of my posts, and you will be seeing that I did talk about Microsoft, and then once it actually started becoming in the money, then I cashed out most of it, and then I actually wrote a little bit, and then I just got out of all of it. But now it's actually heading much higher. So now the targets are between 32 and 33 and a half, and I believe it will probably go even much higher. But right now the first target range is between 32 and 33 and a half. There's another one which I wanted to show. This is the one which is called Blue Nile. Blue Nile has an ABC pattern, but it also is kind of developing an inverse head and shoulders patterns, which I would be a little bit careful in this, and also because Blue Nile also has earnings on May 8th. So since this is not a confirmation of an inverse head and shoulder pattern at all, so because of that reason, I think I'll be careful, and I'll be watching for it to see what type of a trigger it might generate it. But otherwise, let's just stay away from it. Then I guess Another one is spiders. This spiders is, I guess, just to show you that the next target is about 161. That coincides with the 1607 or 1608 on the S&P 2. Another quickly is that Tesla. Tesla has this ABC pattern, which is it rocketed quite a bit, but it also materialized because of the inverse head and shoulder pattern too. Next is the similar one in Walgreens. Walgreens also has a similar type of pattern, and I guess it's moving much higher right now, and that's also an ABC pattern here too. The last pattern of these things I wanted to show is it's ultra short euro. This has got an ABC pattern developing, but it also has a inverse head and shoulder pattern too. Okay. So the next topic what I wanted to show you is something called a parabolic arcs. Parabolic arcs are charts are actually stocks which go massively up for like absolutely non-stop. There are quite a bit of stocks which I've been watching for the past at least 1 to 2 years of it, and I've been actually studying this parabolic arc, and I have written about parabolic arc also in my book, and now I'm at a point of actually I've completed this algorithm of actually compute it dynamically, so that way it knows that it is in a parabolic arc, and it kind of signals me these are the stocks which are in parabolic mode. So I thought that I would quickly show you. There's not a product or anything, but I thought that I would just show you. Take a look at stock like a Walters. This is an investment partners. This is the stock which is in a what I call is a parabolic arc mode, and this is how the arc looks like. And so when you are in this type of arcs, most of these charts, they will eventually stop this rise, and they will return back to 62% of its rise. So for example, this stock, if you look at it, if let's say if this is the start of its rise and this is its level, most of them actually do return back to this level. So the question is, when do we know? We do not know easily when to short these stocks, but only thing is it's good to know that there are these type of patterns exist. And if you take a look into my book, and I actually wrote about it, it's not easy for this stock to short it because there's such a fear associated with it, because we cannot really obviously think that we can short a stock just because it's rising. So because of that reason, I thought that I will just quickly show you that only these are the stocks which are happening. For example, next is the Alaskan airline, and this is also in a parabolic arc. Next is the I believe this is called, I don't trade this stock, but FLT, which is the Fleet Core, I guess. Yes, Fleet Core Technologies, and that's another one, Fleet Core Technologies. And then next one is the Sherwin-Williams. Sherwin-Williams is amazing. Just I have no idea why the stock is going since the end of 2011 until now. This like never came down. So is MasterCard, Visa, and stocks like Expedia and all. They have shown some type of a negative trends. Like for example, today Expedia tanked quite a bit because I think they came out with their earnings, and I guess because of that. And this is probably maybe the first sign. But I thought about this quite a few times also, that this may be the end of Expedia, but it seems like it's never ending. So is Netflix. Netflix is in a parabolic mode, but now Netflix is actually trying to get it to the next. So if Netflix trend really continues, because this itself is not an exhaustion yet, so it could probably go much higher from here too. Let's look at LinkedIn. This is LinkedIn, and also in a parabolic mode. And Pulte Homes, this is another one. Pulte Group, this is the one of the stock which I wanted to show you, which actually went up quite a bit in parabolic mode, but then tanked it. This is the Cirrus Logic, and I think I talked about it. And this is entire of 2012. It went up in a parabolic mode, and then it came back and it's tanked. And that's what happens with most parabolic stocks. And the last one I wanted to show you is it's called a Poly One. This is not my stock, which I don't trade, but I actually have a method to get these stocks scanned and get it. So that's how I got it right now. And then of course I have another 20 more Parabolic stocks too, but I thought that I would quickly show you. And this is going to be part of my actually website too, so I'll be posting them also. Anyway, that's it, guys. I am pretty working hardly with my website, and hopefully I'll be able to launch it next week, and I'll show you some preview and some of the features and everything next week. Have a great weekend. Thank you.